Chapter 588 Two Transcendent Duos. There's no way we would all die so easily. After all, I have already lived for a million years. I am definitely tougher than you think. However, we are also not quite sure what happened. To be honest, we just felt an immense amount of energy surging into your body, which accelerated our recovery. After that, we just woke up after one another. We were about to ask you what happened because we couldn't sense what was going on outside at all. Now that your spiritual power has become so strong, there's no way we can sense what is going on outside without your permission. All of you are not dead, and you mentioned an immense amount of energy. Huro Yuao was also stunned by what he had just heard. He turned his head to look at the Ice Empress and Snow Empress, only to find them nodding. Suddenly, many questions started to form in Huro Yuao's mind. Unless I hadn't turned into an idiot back then, or could everything before me be a dream? No, that can't be right. I seem to be able to control everything around me. This means I must still be alive. Following which, Huro Yuao felt a warm sensation in his heart. His entire body seemed to be brimming with power and strength. Let me go out and take a look. Following which, he immediately returned to his body after signaling the slightest intent. At the same time, he was observing the situation of his body from within. He was immediately shocked by what he saw. The first things he saw were two vortexes, which belonged to his soul cores. Both vortexes were now close to twice their original size. The gems which were forming within the soul core vortexes were now a lot more apparent than before. The two different vortexes were golden and blue. Each of them was releasing an immensely powerful soul power which was fusing and interacting with one another. The brilliant golden blue light was rippling between the two soul cores. The tiny soul power vortexes which were being released by the interactions between the two soul cores now resembled pearls. Because of how much energy was contained within them, one would mistake them as a complete material object rather than just a vortex of energy. This was the first time Huro Yuao was sensing this. It was simply magical. He felt as though his body was brimming with power, and that he had attained new heights in his cultivation. It was almost as if his passageways and organs had already disappeared. He felt as though his entire body had become uniform, just like an entire continent. His soul cores were like the sun and the moon which shone on this huge continent. The golden sun and blue moon had allowed him to comprehend certain laws which governed the universe. It seemed like his soul cores were not only sources of power. However, the transformations in his body were not what startled Huro Yuao the most. Most importantly, why was all of this happening to him? If he was fine, was Tang Wutong also fine? How was she doing? Now that his consciousness had completely returned, Huro Yuao gradually opened his eyes. When he opened his eyes, he instantly realized that he was still in the room at the top floor of the Clear Sky Sect. However, Titan and Tang Wutong were no longer in the room. It seemed like he was the only person left here. Where is Wutong? While Huro Yuao was startled, he found himself floating before landing on the ground with a single intent. Huro Yuao immediately scanned his surroundings by releasing his spiritual detection. While he was executing his spiritual detection, he was surprised to find it working without mustering any of his spiritual power. It seemed like his techniques could now be activated with his intent. Following which, a three-dimensional diagram of Clear Sky Castle formed in his head. Every single living thing was presented in the diagram. In fact, even the slightest detail was captured by his spiritual detection. No, Tang Wutong doesn't seem to be here. He could only sense the mighty life energy of Titan and Nui Tian. On top of that, he was now absolutely certain that the sect leader of the Clear Sky Sect, Nui Tian, must be an ultimate duo. On the other hand, Titan was at least a transcendent duo. Both of their bodies seemed to possess an explosive type of power. The fact that the power they were releasing was already so powerful implied that they were probably in possession of something even more frightening within their bodies. Where's Wutong? Right now, this was the only thought on Huro Yuao's mind. He instantly dashed out of the room before teleporting to where Titan and Nui Tian were. Both Nui Tian and Titan were sitting in a spacious room enjoying a cup of wine. They were both startled by Huro Yuao's sudden appearance. After realizing that their intruder was Huro Yuao, the startled looks on their faces broke out into faint smiles. Uncle Nui Tian and Uncle Titan, where is Wutong? How is she doing? Has all the death aura within her body been expelled? Do you all know where she is? Did anything bad happen to her? Huro Yuao went on like a machine gun as he fired a series of questions at both Nui Tian and Titan. They were, of course, caught off guard by the number of questions being thrown at them. Okay, first, you need to relax. Titan chuckled. Huro Yuao's anxiety was written all over his face. How could he relax right now? Nui Tian pointed outside of the window and spoke. Go and see for yourself. Huro Yuao rose to the window as he peered out of it. He saw something he would never forget for the rest of his life. Pure white clouds were drifting about in the air as they rapidly morphed between different shapes. At times, they were surging about like violet waves in the sky before changing into all sorts of sculptures at the very next instant. A beautiful violet-colored figure was dancing gracefully within these rapidly changing clouds. As she stepped on the clouds enshrouding her figure, her body radiated a faint golden glow. She looked like a fairy emerging from the clouds. Coupled with her graceful dance and her long violet hair, she was radiating an irresistible attraction. A golden sun and a purple moon were suspended above her head as they showered her with radiant light. Their lights further enhanced her fairy-like image. As her powerful soul power fluctuations rippled across the sky, the clouds around her changed colors continuously. Huro Yuao leapt up into the sky as he headed for the clouds. Gentle soul power fluctuations were rippling from his body. In fact, they were no longer soul power fluctuations. They were manifestations of his love for Tang Wutong. The pure feelings of love and admiration were, of course, the best possible emotions. An image that belonged to Rong Niambing flickered behind Huro Yuao, and the surrounding clouds turned golden in color at the next instant. Huro Yuao opened his arms as he flew towards Tang Wutong. At this instant, there was nothing in his eyes but her beautiful figure. Tang Wutong had naturally seen him as a faint smile formed on her face. However, she moved aside and dodged Huro Yuao's embrace before hiding in the clouds with a giggle. Huro Yuao was stunned, and he immediately dashed straight into the clouds. However, he realized that Tang Wutong was no longer in the cloud he had seen her enter. He immediately unleashed his spiritual detection only to find the surrounding clouds to be brimming with Tang Wutong's soul power. His spiritual detection was actually unable to locate her exact position. That's right. Now that she's in possession of Yin Yang complement soul cores, her spiritual power and soul power would have fused perfectly. The soul power she had released must possess the characteristics of her spiritual power. That's why I won't be able to locate her with my spiritual detection. Huro Yuao started to become anxious. He was really afraid that everything he was seeing was just an illusion. Right now, he only wanted to get close to her and touch her. He needed to make sure that everything was real. A blue moon silently ascended behind Huro Yuao, following which, Huro Yuao planted his palm gently on the clouds. At that instant, he felt the blue soul core at his chest area rotate. The powerful blue vortex seemed to have appeared in his palm instantly. The huge patches of clouds outside of Clear Sky Castle were instantly enshrouded by extreme cold. Every single water-type element was frozen immediately. At that instant, every single cloud within 50 kilometers of Huro Yuao transformed into chunks of ice which dropped to the ground. After the clouds dropped down, Huro Yuao was able to see Tang Wutong again. She was shocked to see what Huro Yuao had done. At the same time, it seemed like she was a little displeased with what Huro Yuao had done to the beautiful clouds she had made. However, Huro Yuao couldn't care less about those clouds. He no longer wanted to be tortured by their separation. He immediately teleported to where Tang Wutong was as he opened his arms to hug her. Tang Wutong also teleported at the same time. However, she merely moved back by a single step. She extended her arms to hold Huro Yuao's hands. When Huro Yuao felt the familiar warmth in his hands, he felt as though his heart was about to melt in bliss. Just when he was about to speak, he suddenly felt two streaks of soul power surging from Tang Wutong's body. Before he could even react, he realized his soul power had actually fused with Tang Wutong's soul power. Their bodies lit up at the same time. The golden sun and purple moon above Tang Wutong's head immediately drifted towards Huro Yuao, while his golden sun and blue moon instantly appeared behind his back. The golden suns overlapped with one another before ascending further into the sky. The blue moon and purple moon overlapped with one another to become a violet full moon. The full moon's radiance overlapped with the golden sun's radiance to release an awe-inspiring sight. Tang Wutong and Huro Yuao's bodies became illusory at the same time, following which, the light their bodies were radiating seemed to have become material and solid. Initially, the light seemed to dim before it suddenly exploded with blinding radiance. At that instant, Huro Yuao felt as though his mind had turned completely blank. The explosive radiance they released seemed to have shattered the space around them. This must be fusion. My martial soul and Wutong's martial soul can finally fuse again. Yes, they were now able to fuse again. Now that Tang Wutong had acquired her Yin Yang complement soul cores, their martial souls were now compatible again. At the end of the day, their Hadong power was still Hadong power. However, it had undergone a tremendous transformation. Both of their soul cores had expanded by more than 30%. It was important to note that a 30% expansion in diameter meant that their volume would have gained an even larger increase. Hence, their collective power had improved exponentially. In addition, both of their powers had also multiplied. This was the power of yin-yang complement soul cores. At this instant, both of them had a pair of yin-yang complement soul cores. If one were to look at them with a different perspective, both of them were also like a pair of soul cores. Huo Yuao would be the yang, while Tang Wutong would be the yin. Hence, their Hadong power would also receive a similar yin-yang complement boost. Such enhancement was definitely unprecedented in the history of soul masters. Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong instantly fused together to become a single entity, following which, they released a streak of golden light into the distant sky. The diameter of this golden beam of light was at least 100 meters. It was so long that their eyes could not see the end. This was the first martial soul fusion skill they had unleashed when they had first fused their martial souls. The golden road amidst twittering resplendence. This was definitely the ultimate version of the skill. It was truly an endless golden road. Both of them seemed to have transformed back into their normal forms immediately after they had taken on the shape of the gigantic eye. Huo Yuao immediately brought Tang Wutong deeper into his embrace as he hugged her soft and scented body. This sensation allowed him to be sure that everything was real. Improving his cultivation was really not that important to him. As long as she was around and fine, that was enough. Why were you so foolish to block that dagger for me? Huo Yuao's voice trembled as he choked on his words. Tang Wutong burst into laughter as she laughed. You're the foolish one. If you were in my place, would you not have done that? You are my one and only love. Are you the only one that is allowed to protect me? Am I not allowed to protect you? We need gender equality in our relationship. Huo Yuao tightened his embrace as he whispered. Do you know that if you had really died there and then, I would definitely have taken my life and followed you. I want to be wherever you are. Of course I know that. That's why I can't bear to be separated from you, my dear fool. Tang Wutong giggled. However, while she was laughing, tears were already streaming down her cheeks. At this instant, Nui Tian and Tai Tan were watching the couple who were locked in an embrace from the windows of Clear Sky Castle. Both of them revealed a warm smile on their faces. These two fellows have finally gotten together. I'm really happy for them. It's exactly like how Wutong's mother got together with that fellow. That fellow must have been touched by how Yuao was willing to give up his cultivation for Wutong. He must have seen how Yuao wanted to fuse his yin-yang complement soul cores with her martial soul. This time around, both of them seem to have benefited a lot from this tribulation. They have both become transcendent Beluo. The fact that they have both attained the rank of a transcendent Beluo at such a young age means that they probably have a chance to match the record of that person from 10,000 years ago. Tai Tan remarked with admiration. Nui Tian coughed and said, all right, that's enough. If I remember correctly, I think you once liked Xiao Wu when she was in her human form, right? Can you not be so loud? Do you not know how easy it is for that fellow to become jealous? Look at how he has been torturing his future son-in-law. I can only imagine what he would do to the person who tries to snatch away his woman. Tai Tan spoke in a timid fashion which was completely different from the usual machismo he showed. After hearing what Tai Tan had said, Nui Tian burst into laughter. Huo Yuao was hugging Tang Wutong very tightly and wished that he could bring her body as close as possible to his. After a short while, his mind started to clear up and a question formed in his head. I am embracing Wutong tightly. How is that possible? Why isn't the seal reacting to it? As he thought about it, he tried to increase his grip around Tang Wutong. Still, there was no reaction. Can you be gentler? Tang Wutong grumbled in her usual adorable way. Huo Yuao immediately let go of Tang Wutong and asked her, why is there no reaction? Tang Wutong blushed and said, my father visited earlier, after seeing what you were willing to do for me. Huo Yuao was immensely elated after hearing this, even though Tang Wutong was not yet done with her sentence. Only a fool would not understand what she was trying to say. Thank you, future father-in-law. You're the best. Huo Yuao immediately lowered his head as he stared at Tang Wutong with passionate eyes. He looked at the pink tender lips before his eyes as he slowly lowered his head. Tang Wutong immediately blushed, but she did not try to avoid Huo Yuao. She raised her arms and placed them around his neck. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.